In the following slides, we'll offer a quick tutorial on the importance of using print dictionaries in Tibetan and how to look up words in a print dictionary. Although nowadays there are more and more dictionary resources for Tibetan available online, if you're serious about reading Tibetan or speaking Tibetan, you really need to be able to use a print dictionary. So Yeshka, for example, is an early Tibetan English dictionary that is not available in any of the online sources at the moment. In both English and Tibetan, for English and Tibetan, there are many specialized dictionaries also, which may not be available online, most of which are not available online. So the Dictionary of Modern Tibetan exists by Melvin Goldstein. It exists as a Tibetan English dictionary and an English Tibetan dictionary, now in print. This is an image of an old edition of the Tibetan English dictionary. And there are specialized dictionaries for all kinds of subjects. So for medicine, for example, there are many Tibetan English dictionaries as well as Tibetan dictionaries. Here's a dictionary of traditional food and drink, for example, in Tibetan and English. There are also dictionaries on subjects like administration and law, astrology. There are dictionaries for idioms, honorifics, and homonyms. Many dictionaries on medicine, on poetic synonyms, on Buddhist terminology. Of course, there are scores of dictionaries. Here's a dictionary, Tibetan English dictionary about Tibetan verbs in particular, which includes verb tenses and examples of how verbs are used, and a lot of technical detail that would be difficult to find in any other dictionary. So while there are many Tibetan English dictionaries that do not exist in the online resources that you may have been using so far, there are even more Tibetan dictionaries. So here's a very important medical dictionary for Tibetan medical terms. Here's a really useful resource if you're reading historical sources. So this is a dictionary of historical persons. Here's another Tibetan medical dictionary. There are also many Tibetan Chinese medical dictionaries, as well as Tibetan Chinese or Tibetan Chinese dictionaries on other topics. This, for example, is one of the classic Tibetan Chinese dictionaries. So you can see here that the definitions exist in Tibetan and also in Chinese. And that dictionary, the Pugya Tsiktsö Chenmo that we looked at the last slide, also includes an index in the back that has verb tenses, quite useful, as well as an indication of whether the verb is tade or tamide, meaning something like transitive or intransitive in its usage. So this is quite an important resource that doesn't exist in online sources, and so you really have to use a print dictionary for these kinds of resources. The Columbia University online guide for Tibetan studies, the link for which is here, has a page on Tibetan print dictionaries. This is not a complete list of dictionaries. There are many more than this, but this is a good place to start. There are not a lot of published resources on Tibetan dictionary sort order, but there are a couple. This article here you can find by searching by the title. You can find this full article online. This is one of the few published and easily accessible essays in English on Tibetan sort order. So words are sorted in a Tibetan dictionary in alphabetical order, first by root letter. So root letters will appear in the dictionary in alphabetical order. Next, within a root letter section in the dictionary, words are sorted by prefix. So if there's no prefix, those words will come before any prefix, and then you go through the prefixes in alphabetical order. Once within the section on root letters and a given prefix, the next sorting criterion is the superscript, if there is a superscript. So these words without a superscript would come before this word with a superscript. And then within that section, the superscripts will be arranged in alphabetical order of superscript. The next criterion is the subscript. So all words without a subscript will appear before words with a subscript, and then subscripts are organized alphabetically. After that is the vowels. So vowels in alphabetical order, and then suffixes, and then secondary suffixes. So it sounds a bit tricky, but it will become intuitive quickly. You begin to find the section in the dictionary that is the root letter you're looking for. Then if the word you're looking up has a prefix, then it'll be in the section for that root letter and that prefix. If it has a superscript, then those will be arranged in alphabetical order. If it has a subscript, those will come in alphabetical order. If there's a vowel, if there's a suffix, or if there's a secondary suffix, those will likewise be organized in alphabetical order. Obviously, if there's a root letter, and if it's a simple word with just a root letter, a vowel, and a suffix, you ignore these criterion altogether. So, get out your dictionary, look up some words, and you'll become quick at this practice very soon as you practice it.